What is going on? This is Coach Coleman, Jesse Coleman, and you're checking into Breakthrough Blueprint, the podcast where we help you tap into your full potential. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another solo episode. This episode here it's gonna be fun, and it's a little bit serious. Where as things have been progressing, and I've been being able to you know, elevate just a little bit. Like I'm not nowhere great or anything like that, but elevating just a little bit. Certain things start to come along with that, right? And one key thing I like to think about is that, a quote that I heard was winners focus on winning and losers, well, they focus on winners, right? When it was a meme that I saw where it was I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Um the runner where he was running and his opponent was looking at him and instead of looking forward, right? He was too busy looking at him and not running his own race, not staying in his own lane. And our race is our race. We got to focus on what we control, what we're doing, and not try to tear somebody else down make you feel good or because you're not doing what you're supposed to do, right? So that's the big thing we're going to talk about today is running your own race, staying in your own lane, and focus on winning and not focus on what anybody else is doing because what somebody else is doing doesn't dictate why you aren't where you should be or why you are where you're supposed to be, right? So we just got to remember we got to focus on the race, focus on our own thing. And there's going to be a lot of people that just hate for no damn reason. Like I'm pretty sure you got other stuff more important in your life going on, right? Than worrying about what somebody else is doing. People mind their own business, people doing their own thing, people trying to have personal growth and not only that, but trying to help other people grow. They're not worried about what other people are doing. Like, and that's one thing we have to be prepared for as individuals that are looking to continue to have growth, continue to do amazing things. Is that there's going to be people that's just jealous and upset because they're not having opportunities or they're not doing those things. And instead of them looking at themselves in the mirror and figuring out what's going on, they decide to just try to, shit on somebody else. Why? Shitting on somebody else is not going to make your situation better. It's not going to make your podcast better. It's not going to make the things you're doing better by worried about what somebody else is doing, right? So, there's going to be a few things we're going to talk about, and we're going to get back to that part. But first thing we want to talk about is comparison is a killer. Stop comparing your chapter 2 to somebody else's chapter 10. Stop comparing on what you're saying on social media to what you're doing. Like, I was teaching the class and I brought this up, and I'm like, a lot of people don't know what I sacrificed to go on the road. Like, I'm leaving my family at home. I'm leaving my two daughters. Like, I'm leaving people that love me, care about me at home. That is a big sacrifice. People just look at it like, oh, you're traveling, you're doing that, and blah blah blah. Yeah, but guess what? I am leaving my people at home, right? I don't get to pick my daughter up from school. I don't get to drop off from school. I don't get to just sit down and watch her do a little dance and say, "Hey, look what I learned on YouTube or something like that." I don't get that time. So stop looking at what other people are doing and comparing yourself to that because again, I miss some of that time with my daughter, right? But I know there's a bigger purpose. I have a mission and vision to what I want to accomplish and what I want to do. So I'm a little bit okay with that sacrifice. But again, you don't know what other people are dealing with. You don't know what other people are going through. So don't compare yourself to what other people is doing. And again, like I said, comparing your chapter 2 to somebody else's chapter 10, that is a momentum killer. Right? Remember, we're running our own race. We're staying in our lane. Right? We're talking about PRs, personal records. Right? When you're going for a PR, it doesn't matter what somebody else is doing. If you're at the gym and you're bench pressing, you're focusing on your bench, not what the person on the bench next to you is doing, right? We got to stop comparing ourselves. Their journey is different than ours. We don't know what their journeys looks like, right? That person on the bench next to you, they've probably been working on that exercise for the past 5, 6, 7 years. Where you just started doing benching, you just started going higher on your weight probably a month or 2 months ago. Hell, even 6, 7 months ago. Your timing is different than that other person's timing. So you can't compare. You don't look into those things. Like you just focus on your timing. You focus on your race. You focus on getting everybody heard this 1% better every day. 1% better every day. That's what you focus on. You focus on you getting 1% better every single day, right? And a little bit more on focusing on your race. Success is not beating others. If we look at our business, if we look at our personal life, unless you are in sports and hell, even in sports, the only way you can beat the other team is if you beat your effort from the game before, the day before. So again, it comes back to you and what it is that you're doing. It's about showing up as the best version of yourself. In business, everybody has their own timeline. And we should know that. And I know there's a lot of this going on right now in the day and age that we're in where social media and not only that, but also the younger generation where, yeah, they're streaming, they're doing this, and you're probably looking at like, damn, they're killing, they're doing this. But I would say this: are you willing to sacrifice things to sit in front of a camera, to sit in front of a screen for 30 days straight and let people see what you're doing? Now, if you're willing to do that, then hey, by all means, okay, you can feel a little way, and now you go in that space and you start trying to do that. But if you are not personally willing to sit in front of a screen for 30 days straight and let people see everything that you're doing, why are you worried about what that generation is doing with their screen streaming and being on social media? If you're not going to do that, why you care about that, right? And then also, when we think about the business world, where if somebody is a business owner or somebody is a coach or somebody is a trainer and they're doing a little bit more than you, then that has nothing to do with you. There's so many people out here that needs motivation, that needs push, that needs help. There's more than enough people for you to help. You don't need to worry about what the next person is doing. Right. So we can't worry about anything else. Our race is our race. Our lane is our lane. We have to focus on staying in our lane. And the next part, this one is gonna be fun for me. Haters don't matter, bro. Like people throwing shade are usually behind you. They're watching instead of working. Right. I made a post and I said why they hate we work. Yeah, why they hate we work. It don't matter what they talking about. People, the reason people hate is because they aren't where they should be at. That's all it is. Because if they was focusing on being the best version of their self, if they was focusing on growing what they're doing, if they was focusing on going to the next level, they wouldn't have time to see or care about what the next person is doing. I never understood people that need to talk down on somebody else to try to make themselves look better. And I've been seeing that from across the board with a lot of different things, a lot of different people right now, yo. Like for real. You could tell things are getting a little tight out here. You could tell people are feeling the pressure because there are a lot of them throwing shade and talking shit about things to try to make themselves look better. And at the end of the day, we just gonna keep doing what we doing. We focusing on our race. The only reason I'm giving this a little bit of time on the pod is because I know there's some people out here that's dealing with the same thing. There's people that's been dealing with it before us. There's going to be people dealing with it after us. So I just want to give people just a little bit a little bit of motivation. Like, let them hate. Because here's the thing: when you weren't operating at 100%, when you weren't making noise, they didn't give a damn about you. They didn't say shit. But soon as you start operating, right? Soon as you start moving, soon as things start happening, soon as people start talking about you, then they start hating. Now they're jealous. Now they're envious. Now they feeling salty about some stuff. So at the end of the day, what we gonna do? We gonna give them something to hate on. We gonna give them something more to talk about. Recipes to the flipper, recipes to Dolph. We're gonna give them something to hate about, right? If you thought what we was doing up until now was something, wait till we really go in. Wait till we really go hard. Wait till we put the pedal to the metal. So while you watching us and trying to, hate on what we're doing to try to build yourself up, we already gonna be moving to the next step. Because there's one thing that we know is when you're focusing on work, when you're focusing on winning, you don't have no time to criticize. That's how I know, people are not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not working on what they're supposed to work on because they got time to worry about what other people are doing. And another part of that too, and I'm just gonna keep it real, honest, and transparent. You don't even have to give those people no attention because the way life has been whooping their ass, life has been whooping people ass, right? So you don't even have to say nothing. You don't even have to address things because life been addressing it to them already. So again, we focus on our own race. We do our own thing. We don't have time to hate. If they got time to hate, if they got time to try to talk down on other people to build themselves up, that has nothing to do with us. I saw a old post that I made on social media damn near 10 years ago, and it says rule number one: fuck what they think. Yeah, we don't care about what they think. We gonna keep moving. That's how you know you're doing the right thing and you're doing what you're supposed to do because people start hating. And they hate because they're not getting the attention that you're getting or the opportunities that you're getting when in our actuality, we work for everything. It truly got it out the mud. So again, haters don't matter. And another big part about that is for me is until they put a name on it, until they let you know to your face, they really don't matter. Because majority of the time, they're just gonna talk shit behind your back, or they're gonna make subliminal posts, right? They're not man enough or women enough to put a name on it and address the issue head on. So they take shots and they do that. So we really don't worry about that. Again, we're running our own race. We're focusing on our own thing. All right. Next part, we're gonna talk about laser focus equals results. Laser focus. So I want you to ask yourself, what is one thing I can do today that push my race forward? Again, what is one thing I can do today to push my race forward? Because again, we're running our own race. We're trying to get a PR. We're trying to get a personal record. So what do I need to do today to push my race forward? What are some of the things I need to do for me to continue to just focus on my race and cut out all the outside noise? So we got to tune out the noise. We got to put the blinders on and lean into our discipline. Because again, remember, motivation is bullshit, but discipline is the key. Motivation is bullshit, but discipline is the key, right? Discipline and consistency. We don't, motivation is BS. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline, that is the thing. So we got to tune out the noise, tune out the noise, tune out the drama. Social media. Do an audit of your social media. If there's things on your social media that is constantly just negative, that's constantly draining people, you don't have to completely unfriend them, but unfollow them where you're not seeing that constant BS and constant negativity. Because again, we have to stay disciplined. We have to lock into what we're doing. We have to stay there, right? So again, what is one thing I can do today to move my race forward? What can I do to tune out the noise and lean into my discipline, right? Here's my closing challenge for you all too. Stop looking at the crowd. Stop watching the competition. Eyes forward. Run your race. All right. Stop looking at the crowd. Stop watching the competition. Eyes forward. Run your race. We're gonna run our own race. We're not. We're not focusing on what anybody else is doing, especially the haters, especially the doubters. They don't do nothing for us. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep winning so they can have something more to hate about. So at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's keep rocking and rolling. We're staying in our lane, running our own race, and we are going for personal records. We're going for personal records. How can I beat what I did yesterday? How can I beat what I did last week? How can I beat what I did last month? How can I beat what I did last year? Right? Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean we're living in the past and we're dwelling on what I did yesterday, last week, last month, yeah, last year. But our whole goal is to get 1% better. We want to be 1% better. We want to move forward every single day to the next level, to the next thing, right? So we got to focus on that. Winners focus on winning and losers focus on winners. We focusing on how we can be the best version of ourselves. That way we can be the best version of ourselves to the world and more importantly to the people that love us, trust us, and care about us. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Are we showing up as the best version of ourselves to those people that love us and care about us? So again, thank you for rocking with me. It was a. I had to control myself a little bit on this episode. I could have went further. I could have took it further, right? I could have really been that, but again, we're working on being the best version of ourselves, and we are turning situations into a positive thing. Those negative situations, it don't matter. We turn into positive, and we're going to use that as a positive fuel, and we're not going to let it, you know, we're not going to let it get us down, right? So again, this is Coach Coleman, Jesse Coleman. Thanks for checking into Breakthrough Blueprint, the podcast, where we help you tap into your full potential. And remember, focus on your own race, and we don't care what the haters say. Peace.